Pretty interesting. Good to see you after a very long time.
Yeah, good to see you too.
Cool. And you will be in office in what, like about 5 minutes?
Max 5 minutes.
Okay, let me just get people in so that they don't kind of lose the charm, and we can just get started. Let's get started then. Again, I think the question was on the state of horizontal e-commerce.
Yeah.
Then and now, and what are you trying to focus on through Unistore or Click?
Yeah. See, as we speak, these models are evolving. And I'm talking about in those days with Flipkart, most of the learning was from international markets. A lot of learning from Amazon, how they have done, how they have built the experiences. What we have realized in the last 8-10 years, horizontal marketplaces are anyway going to continue, but you will see a very high degree of customization category by category. How a mobile phone is sold vis-a-vis how fashion products are sold, there will be a significant difference. And today, this is not just on front-end experience. It is not how your product description page look like, what information is stored, what information is shown to consumers, how the customer journeys are, what policies. It is across the board. It is to do how the products are stored in terms of warehouses, the operational processes. All of this will get customized and it will be broken by categories. In certain categories, the complexity level will be so high. And the reason why you would continue to see really sharp, large vertical players in certain categories, the way today what Nykaa has done, for example, on beauty, or Lenskart has done for eyewear. So you will find both of them coexisting. Or for example, even Myntra. Myntra has brilliantly solved for fashion. So it's a mix of both. You will have horizontal solving for certain value segment and a certain bit of brand buying consumers. But the moment you go one level higher, where people look at what is the trend and fashion in that category, and when consumers start buying basis stories, then it will start becoming more and more vertical. So which means you need to solve for that category. And that's a shift that is happening. So it will be a mix of both. You can't have grocery on your marketplace platform. Grocery as a line of business is a very different. It's a PLP business. You don't go and read about onions and potatoes. You add it directly to the cart when you see the listing page, and the way you do it is very different. The sizes are very different, and so on and so forth. So some of these categories will bring in that nuance, where it will some categories will continue to exist as a part of horizontal marketplace, but you will do customization within there. Some category of product will be so different that you will have to build a separate interface or a platform to be able to do justice to consumer experience. And if you are solving the problem, that's exactly what we are doing here at Click. Some of this we learned fairly early in our days. So within a year of our launch, we realized, though we had both premium brands and luxury brands on the platform, luxury consumers' expectation was very different. The way they were buying was different. The kind of questions they were asking was different. And the overall expectation was very, very unique to the way they shop. Is when we decided to take that call of building a separate app for Tata CLiQ Luxury, which we built in 2017. And we have seen phenomenal traction. Today, we are easily the largest luxury player, online and offline put together. For some of the brands, we contribute to anything between 25 to 50% of their India business, online, offline put together, and it's that large. And we are growing anywhere between 150 to 250%. So, and we have like plans to continue growing at the same pace for next few years. There is a massive potential. And again, we started off as a lifestyle platform on luxury side, and then kept adding category after category. And we believe that we can solve for those luxury households and not restricting it to any particular category. And we intend to sell from the latest season merchandise on fashion to the highest end cars and watches and yachts and everything, what a luxury consumer would love to. And each one has a different preferences. We have taken some calls on e-commerce side where I'm sure people would. It's a very counterintuitive calls. Like for example, adding an extra click uh, just for consumer to get to know about the brand. In a purest term on e-commerce, people will think, how can you add an extra click for a customer? But we realize that's the best thing that we can do for consumers, and it is showing. So we have probably the best retention rates on the e-commerce side for any platform in the country. Extremely high. It's we have more than 30% retention for consumers acquired 4 years back. So and some of these metrics help us to sort of grow, scale our business really well. So and from that learning is where we realized where is the next opportunity for growth, which we believe there are 2 or 3 very large categories. Beauty is one of them, and we are sort of going all out in building an omni-channel beauty platform, and we should be you should be hearing about it in next month and a half. So work has been happening for the last year and a half, so we are almost there. We should be releasing it very soon.
Wow, I think this is pretty exciting because I was actually reading a news, I think way back in January 2022, only about 5 months back, and I read that you got Estee Lauder, you got Mac on board, and kind of that kind of gave us a very strong view towards the fact that beauty as a vertical is something that you are focusing on. And when you talk about omni-channel, I'm like, how do you kind of connect the journey for a customer who is either buying at a store vis-a-vis somebody who's coming onto the platform? What are the differentiators that you look at, creating for your customers who would buy from either of these channels? And obviously, there is a hybrid way as well, wherein you possibly, like for example, if you go to a Chroma, you can place the order online and go and pick it up from the store as well, right? So, in particularly when it comes to a beauty segment that you're looking at, how are you looking to create and differentiate with regard to experience?
Yeah. So if you ask me today, the buying journeys are fairly evolved. And I don't know the way customer or people talk about omni-channel truly justifies the kind of expectation the consumer have today. Just to give you an example, the journey of buying doesn't even start on the platform. So which is not a e-commerce platform. Customers buying journey for us, the way we understand, in a large place, it starts on what she gets to see on Instagram. On Instagram, she is following an influencer, and influencer is recommending something basis which they either go to an offline store, try whether that product is suiting her the best, then come back, buy that product online from an e-commerce platform, then go to YouTube, see the videos on how to use, when to use, and completing the overall journey, and then tracking the progress that the product is having on her. This is a complete mesh, and this what we believe is going to be the future of retail. Is a mix of online, offline, content, and commerce coming together. If anyone need to solve for this, is we need to bring all of them together and in a meaningful way, which is not very fulfillment angle or a fulfillment basis omni-channel, how we have been doing this for the last at least 5-6 years, which is like placing an order online and picking up from the store, or you have an order that you have received, you can go and return to the store, is a very simple basic use case. Consumers have evolved, and some of the countries abroad are doing far better, and the expectation also from the customers have significantly changed. The best thing is even the technology is also advanced so much. It today provides us with the opportunity to be able to do all of this, which is what we're attempting, which is what bringing content, commerce, offline retail, online retail, all together, so that if you can provide one platform for consumer to learn about the category, be that authoritative space in education, at the same time provide the wider selection in a highly personalized fashion, which means I keep it highly relevant. I show the content which is relevant to you. I show the product which is relevant to you, and I show it at the right time, both content and commerce, and create a very sticky platform. So you don't come to the platform not only for buying. You come here to learn about what is happening across the globe, how is the industry trending, what are your celebrities that you're following, what are they doing, how is it progressing? Is that how we are looking at some of these problems?
Wow, this is very interesting. In fact, I was talking to one of your colleague from another group company, which is Tata MG, 1MG. I think last month I was talking to Anubhav, and he also mentioned that apparently 1MG happens to be, I think, world's largest platform, which has got the, I think, highest possible content with regard to pharma and medicine, right?
That's right.
So content-led strategy certainly looks like something wherein, obviously uh, people come in for their interest and then they kind of look at how do they really want to go through this journey. Buy or no buy is obviously is obviously an outcome of what pricing or what retention strategy that you deploy in. But I think this is very interesting to know that you are looking at Instagram journey from where you're trying to tie up influencers, and obviously when you talk about influencers, can I safely say that you are targeting somewhere between 15 years to maybe about 25-30 year age group, or do you have a different strategy for different age groups that come onto your platform, and what kind of age groups that you have seen in terms of who becomes your, so from your consumer to your user or a customer, what is the trend looking like in terms of the split one? And two, obviously, what kind of different strategy do you deploy for people who buy or who even come to your platform?
Yeah. So there are like 3-4 questions there. I'll try taking one by one. I'll start with the age question that you had. The platform that we are trying to build for beauty will try and cater to 15 to 60. And we will have micro cohorts between 50 to 60, and each one will have different things to showcase, different ways the communication will happen. For example, somebody, a 15-year-old, it's like recruiting that customer to the category for the first time. It will be why you need some of the products, what does it help for, which is from that level. And the beauty of the whole personalized approaches, and that's what we are building. It's a highly data driven approach with more than 100 attributes, which decides what to show to you, whether it is on content and whether it is on product side. For example, a 15-year-old from Delhi will have a very different problem in comparison to a 15-year-old from Chennai. And the problems are not same. And both of them are entering into beauty as a category and what they want to know and what problem they're trying to solve for. We yeah, we believe that it is best to sort of create those smaller cells, and it's like divide the entire country into about 10 to 15 pockets, and all the categories into beauty is like it's not the right term. So beauty is skin, makeup, hair, bath and body, fragrances, grooming. All of these are very unique and large enough as categories. So it's a matrix of 10 by 7. So if I have to break this into 10 by 7 and 70 different cells, each cell has like, it's for a particular geography and for different categories, which is makeup, skin, etc. Each one is very unique to that set. And in that, if you overlay the age, uh, the problems of a 15-year-old vis-a-vis somebody as a 45-year-old is very different. So we are addressing for each cohort of this. And this can only happen when you build content at a very large scale. So we are trying to almost build Insta for beauty. It is at that scale we need to build content. The thought processes, we'll have it at like 4 levels. At the topmost is the set of people who are experts in the field, whom people look up to, their advice. These are beauticians, world-renowned ones, dermatologists, cosmetologists, etc. Then comes your brands who are there in the space, who have their own authority. People follow them, learn from them, and they do a very deep research on the category, products, etc. Then third level is where the influencers come in, micro influencers, and these influencers also cater to different geographies, different age group, etc. And today you'll be surprised by the number of beauty or any such category influencers that exist in the country. Somebody might have a following of about 5,000 to in millions as well, but they have a very strong influence and they cater to a particular part of geography, specific problems. We are trying to get them all on board for solving different, and this will solve for language. India is not one country. It's very very different. The preferences are different. The cultures are different. Your eating habits are different. Your belief system is different. Uh, and we also have sort of understood some of these are not very best solved with hypothesis or a force fitted strategy, which is where we want to use the power of data to guide us in terms of build as many attributes as possible. Let the data guide us. How do you use that information? So, for example, if an influencer is creating a content, that influencer content we will tag it into like 50 different tags. So just to give an example, one tag will be 15 to 18. So which means this influencer is for a 15 to 18 age group. This influencer is best for skin, and she is a best influencer for SMEs, and for so and so price range brand products, and best suited. So these are the kind of tags that we will create for products as well as for influencer and try and bring in the best match depending on what does consumer personalization history says. It's a very large data play here. It's not going to be a single hypothesis driven.
Well, it looks like super complex, right? So while building the product, and like you said that you've been doing it for almost about one and a half years now,
That's
right?
right. That's
so during this window in terms of product and the app, which is also going to come out pretty soon, I've seen some of the things even at Tata CLiQ in general as well. What are the key aspects that you looked at when customer has completed the buying journey and then you are looking to create a post-buying experience? What kind of exercise did you go through keeping your customer at center while building? What kind of stores would you have? What kind of app and what kind of in-app experience would you have? Pre-buying, post-buying, during the buying? Like any particular problem statement that you want to highlight, which you had actually and you came across?
Hey, this is like our day-to-day bread and butter. So there's not a single day when we don't have this problem and we solve for it. Only thing is we work any area customer backwards. You keep customer at the center, whatever solution that they're bringing, we try and see how does it impact customer, then how does it impact some of the business metric in terms of growth, and then on efficiency. It's always in that order and always customer backwards. A lot of areas, like for example, very counterintuitive, a lot of people today measure NPS. We started measuring NPS. Probably we will be amongst one of the highest in terms of e-commerce retail on NPS. We are consistently above 50 for our Tata CLiQ platform. Tata CLiQ Luxury is above 70 consistently. And then we realized NPS is still a biased metric. Biased in the sense it is dependent on consumer to respond to a question. And that response rate is not even across the board. By even, I mean, if you have to create multiple cohorts of experiences the customer have had, which means somebody for whom I did a really good job on delivery. Day 0 delivery, day 1 delivery, day 2 delivery, or delivery within the promised timeline. And the set of people who have not had a great experience whether on delivery or the quality of the product and the return experience and different experience. There is a bias of consumers responding to one of the cohorts more than the others. It's never even. Sometimes really good experience customers respond a little more, and sometimes really bad. It tilts a little bit more towards customer who have not had great experience responding more to service. We then what we did, we went back and said, like, NPS is a lag output metric. Let's sort of go back and ascertain what is the input metric, and then maybe draw out a correlation with every single input area. So we have come up with something called as perfect order. Perfect order is any order where once the order is taken, we ship that product, which means we don't end up canceling that product. Customer doesn't end up canceling that product. We ship the product as per the defined timeline. We deliver the product as per the defined timeline. There are no logistic delays that happens. Customer doesn't initiate any returns on that product. And in this entire process, customer doesn't have to call our contact center even once. If any of this happens, it's an imperfect order. So that's the definition.
Okay.
And then we did, and then we found out, went back, what was the NPS for perfect order customers? It's about 2.5x of non-perfect. So it was very clear. So all we need to do is we just need to go after improving the perfect order. NPS automatically will happen. And the beauty of this is this number is available for 100% of your transaction. So you're not dependent on customer to come and tell you whether they had a good or great experience or a bad experience. You yourself know.
Yeah.
And also your ability to percolate it to every single function in the company. NPS also, it's a problem that it's one function which gets this metric, assigning the ownership, whether it was bad buying experience or bad delivery experience or bad CS experience or product or seller. It was always a tough job. Now all of that is taken care of. So we know which part of the business is adding to customer experience positively and which is not. And it has changed the way we look at some of these problems. And we are becoming more and more input driven and having a very strong correlation with the output that we are designing.
Okay, I think this is very interesting. So when you went back and looked at your perfect order percentage, I'm like, have you set some target as a benchmark? Yeah. So I'm like, where do you...
ourselves. So we're improving like year on year, anything between 15% to 20%. And it is there on the KRAs of everybody in our, we call it as management committee, which is the set of CXOs, all the business heads, all the function heads, everybody carries a KRA, and it percolates down. And our weekly and monthly reviews start from the customer metrics, and in the customer metric we start with perfect order. So it's like we are percolated across the company.
Oh, this is very interesting. So, for example, you look at, and you must be measuring orders that have had some level of defect or interaction with the customer, or some problem or some delays. I'm like,
the drivers not able to enter OTP really slow. 1 second. Just 1 second.
Sure. So guys, if you guys have any questions, please put those questions down in the chat box.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
Back.
Cool. So I think, so what I was coming to is basically when you have identified that there are certain problems in some of the orders that you have had, right? How do you, so you talked about 15 to 20% year-on-year improvement. According to the issues that you were able to zero down on, what are the top 3 contributing areas wherein you felt that, these are the areas that are contributing to my experience, or rather a customer not having a perfect order?
See, I'll tell you what, this is a continuous improvement cycle. It doesn't get over. None of these problems get over. Your problem keeps changing. Your targets keep going up. It's a top-down driven culture. I can tell you what we do. We, as a company, every week, entire company spent about 2 hours every Friday going through RCAs for an issue, customer issue. And every week we cover 2 RCAs. Here is a team. And now every week there is a slot that is given to, sometime it is beauty as a business is presenting, sometime it's supply chain, sometimes CS, sometimes finance. They come and present one RCA, and the entire company, including the CEO, who reviews that case, goes, we use multiple, either we use fishbone or 5 analysis, and going in deep, what happened, what is the problem, what is the corrective action we took, and what is the preventive action, and where are we, and how do we ensure that the same problem doesn't happen to this customer or any other customer in future. And we keep sort of raising the bar of the kind of problem that we are solving for. And this addresses every single part of perfect order, perfect return, everything. So everything comes from there. It is somebody who didn't receive the product as per the promised date, even after a couple of commitments, then we go like really, really deep. And it's a lot of commitment. You can imagine 400 employees to about 400 to 600 employees spending 2 hours. It's about 800 hours of commitment to understand what the problem happened and how it happened, and how they will ensure that they look at their problems. It also brings in a lot of customer sensitivity across the organization when you look at things. And this also sort of ensures that it drives and people on their own start sort of understanding the importance and implication of how you look at problem customer backwards and solve for it. So yeah, so it's not a one problem that we have solved for. It is every week we keep solving as a company the problem which will continuously improve the experience for customers.
Wow, this is really amazing. And one thing that I possibly take away, and I would like to mention and emphasize it here, because I keep talking about, while obviously we are too small as a business, but there is something which is very common. You talked about how do you focus on ensuring that the same problem doesn't happen again. So what we did at FiveS is, while we are into obviously business process management space, we run contact center and services all through obviously driven through data and technology. We wrote down our core principles, and one of the core principles is solving for repeatability, right? So this is very much common, because when we as a leadership get together, we look at why did the problem happen, what can we do to make sure that it doesn't happen again, because I think this is something just very, very important. You don't want to be putting your brains on same problem time and over again, right? So I think this is really very, very interesting. And I'm like, challenging NPS, obviously NPS is an output metric. You're looking at more at the reason of why something happened, right, is very, very important. Taking the experience more to the logistics part, right? You are into say beauty, you are into luxury, you are into horizontal commerce, trying to sell through various channels, right? Obviously, you are not into logistics, and we know very well that whenever you make certain promises, these are based on obviously your partner, supply chain, all of that, right? And obviously, one of the largest contributor is logistics. Have you been through any of the problem-solving cycle, particular to logistics? And what is your solution to the logistics problem?
In fact, if you ask me, we have in our company, we work on funnels and squads. We have 7 funnels. Each funnel takes care of some or the other part of the consumer journey. We call it as pre-platform, then upper funnel takes care of search and browsing, then lower funnel takes care of a cart, checkout and payment. Then we have fulfillment, supply chain, which is your logistic, customer service and finance. And then we have a couple of horizontal, which is analytics and marketing. Our largest team is supply chain on the product and technology side, which is it's an output driven, and it's an outside in view. It's a highest customer impacting as well. And it's a highly complex problem that we need to solve. It is the appreciation of the problem which ensured that we allocate the right amount of resources and understand the problem deep enough. Today, we run multiple ML-led programs to be able to accurately promise consumer what is the date of delivery, when to expect. It's a very difficult problem to solve. And especially in a marketplace scenario, when you're picking up products from 1,000 different locations, from 6,000 to 10,000 different stores, and you're delivering that product across the country to about 20,000 pin codes. Be able to exactly pinpoint that this item will reach you on this particular date before this time. It requires a lot of back-end work and understanding what was the performance of that particular logistic partner in that lane from the source and destination for that category of product, using that mode of shipment, whether it was through air or through surface, and each one has its own nuance that is attached to it. We have done a lot of progress, technological progress, to understand and very accurately predict where it works. And there are like very, very deep challenges. For example, um, a store has a multiple kind of limitation. First and foremost is the stock itself. How accurately you can predict the current stock level at a store, which is selling offline as well. So it is not, you are not the only end destination in which the product is sold. You have an offline store which also ships online products. How do you ensure the accuracy of inventory availability? And then being capacity aware. For example, during end of season sale, how are you how do you know a particular store can process how many shipments in a day? And we don't realize the importance of it. Suddenly you realize that you do 30 shipments and you get 300 shipments, it will get spilled over. How do you know that if somebody is taken on, today that person is not working and taken leave, etc., and be able to accommodate and work on that system, getting the right signal, intimating different folks at different points in time. This requires a lot of operational understanding, building technology systems, some predictive, some proactive, and some reactive, all require at different stages. Very high on one-touch communication mechanism, which has helped over last 5-6 years to continuously improve experience. So, for example, our cancellation percentages, we have reduced it by 95% in the last 5 years. Our predictability on promise to consumers, again, we have improved by more than 90%. Accuracy of information shared, which is promises shared. Today, we are at 95% plus for all orders that are placed on the platform. All of this is continuous improvement we have done on the supply chain, product and technology side, highly data-driven approach. And also, the industry is also evolved. Some of the expectation that we have from our partner in terms of data input, also we get it very quickly. Our ability to take action when something doesn't go as per plan is also pretty high. If a shipment is supposed to have traveled 500 kilometers by now, for it to reach Delhi by their promised date, and if it doesn't happen, I come to know of it at this stage itself. I don't have to wait for the promised date, which is 1 day later or 2 days later, to take action. So all that helps us in problem solving before it becomes a problem. So all of that is how we are solving for supply chain.
Wow, this is very interesting. In fact, one thing that I picked it up was how to implement the machine learning models effectively. In fact, this resonates very well with me, because as a part of one of our business, we also have a machine learning data training practice as well, wherein we, I think, have been helping a lot of retail stores in training the data model well in terms of what item has been picked, what are the various attributes to it. And I think this goes well back into your systems to make sure that whenever you are predicting something from right, because on the supply chain side, there are offline stores as well that play a very important role and play a role in fact, the ordering frequency, replenishment of orders, all of that, right? So I think this is something which is very, very interesting, that you need to have the right set of models being built and a very strong data-driven approach. And some numbers are phenomenal. I'm like reducing cancellation by 95% plus, improving predictability by 90%, and maintaining 95%. Obviously, there is always a scope of improvement, but maintaining 95% of promise is itself a big number. Before I go further, I have an audience question. It looks like we are going to maybe overshoot. in terms of time, but I'll try and keep it within the time window. The question one of the audiences asked is, which channels have been giving you the highest ROI? Because you have been largely into multi-channel environment. So in terms of ROI, how do you measure it? Yeah.
Which channel is it like the question? We are a digital platform.
Yeah.
Is it the question between app and website and M-site? It is definitely app. If your question is it organic? Is it paid traffic versus organic? Organic is better. If it is between Facebook, Google, and any other third platform, it is almost at par. It depends on how you see that channel cut. I hope I answered the question. So.
I think, yeah. So I think because when there are multiple channels through which you are kind of, obviously, the whole idea is basically you kind of create a multi-channel or omni-channel strategy. Like, for example, when you are going to implement beauty, right, you are going to look at stores as well.
There it will be very different. So there, so we'll still have the reach and our ability to cater to will still be significantly driven by online channel. But offline plays a large role on education, trials, and beauty as a category requires it. And we have plans to scale up the number of stores that we will have in the next 2 to 3 years. It will still be lesser than the contribution coming in from online, but it's a fairly critical, channel for us from that viewpoint. But yeah, we will see our business to still be dominated by online business.
Wow, this is interesting. So just to pick from the same thread, how are you going to ensure that your customer's journey from an online to a store, and for the same perspective, we look at from your employees or the person who is selling it on your stores, how would you ensure that the experience and the journey is similar or the same when he or she buys from the store, when he or she buys from online?
Yeah, we are specifically building for that. The whole customer journeys are defined in such a manner that moment she walks into the store, we know that she is an existing customer of the platform. What has been her browsing history, what products are already there in the cart, what she has bought in the past, and to be able to guide her effectively, efficiently. That's the plan. We will be using some of the proprietary technology capabilities to be able to do it. And yeah, we feel that's the way forward. Some players have done it really well, but it requires a certain amount of brand love. For example, Amazon Go does a phenomenal job of frictionless. But the thing is, the consumer who does that shopping, which is like your grocery shopping, they would want it frictionless. You don't need any guidance. You just walk into the store, I pick up items and I should walk out. I don't need somebody to come and tell me whether this one works better. This is the best suited product for my skin. I don't have to try something and then decide whether I should buy this one or this color or some other color. So it will sort of slightly vary. But even in Amazon Go's case, for example, you need to have the app downloaded on the mobile. You need to have a card added to your account so that when you walk in, the platform can recognize that who is the person who's walked in, and then immediately be able to establish. So you can't get into the store without having the app and a card attached to the app. Then you will not be able to perform any action. So which means you can't even enter. I don't know if you've tried Amazon Go. The gate doesn't open if you don't have a downloaded working app. So some of these preconditions, it is easier for an established brand to be able to do, or at least it should be very clearly communicating and sort of getting that thing in place so that everybody understands. And once that happens, your ability to tie in these journeys, online and offline journey, who is the customer who's walked in. Those are some of the capabilities that works really, really well. In fact, my favorite example that I keep quoting to our team is like a decade-old Steven Spielberg movie, Minority Report, wherein this Tom Cruise enters into this retail shop and through retina recognition, the software recognizes who the person is. The only thing is he gets his eye operated and using somebody else's eyeballs there. So, but that's the future. That's the future. And your ability to know who she is and seamlessly sort of transfer between online and offline world.
No, absolutely. I think this is very, very interesting because even as a business, we have some experience of working in the beauty space for last 5.5 years or so. And it certainly looks like there's a lot more interesting stuff coming in from your side. So moving towards possibly the last leg of this coffee chat, while I would for sure next time when I'm in Mumbai, I'm going to steal some time of yours and maybe have a whiteboarding session with you, right? So, and I'm sure that I'm invited. I hope
My
so.
pleasure. My pleasure.
Great. So, taking you a bit back into your previous roles, more from business to a customer service or a customer experience role, you've played that role from a service and experience perspective for a good number of years. What tools, systems, and largely the technology interventions in the customer service or customer experience space, had fascinated you or continue to fascinate you, and you feel that that has really changed the way the entire interaction of customer service or experience gets better, right? So what are those tools that you feel are, one, extremely important, and two, what kind of connected platforms or tools that you felt were very, very important and critical for somebody who is solving customers' problem, be it at store or be it online or through contact center? You felt that is something which has been really very, very strong, powerful.
So typically what I have done in the past, and I'm a big proponent of it, is I view everything in service as a funnel. Top end of the funnel is where customer need to interact for some or the other problem and reach out to the customer service team to get the problem solved. Is it about, it could be about where is my order and tracking it, or where is my refund, or that you promised but it is not getting done. I don't like the product if it is not working. The first and foremost reason for CS as a unit, which we have defined here in Tata CLiQ as a tenet, is eliminating the need for customer to contact, which means you just build your systems, processes, and capabilities that you keep reducing the need for customer to contact, which comes in with intelligence, comes with a very deep understanding of why customer contact you, what are the different reasons, and how you can predict when will a customer contact and eliminate that need, which is by order tracking, making it like super simple for customer to see it on the app, how the product is moving. And if something goes wrong, how you can proactively send an automated communication message in a channel of customer's choice, so that she reads it and uses that, and so on and so forth. So which is about, first is eliminating the need for contact itself. And that has helped me immensely, whether it was with Flipkart, Snapdeal here, have reduced what we sort of typically track as contact per transaction by multifold. Today, all of them would be at sub 10%. When I joined Flipkart, it was 50% plus. So every 100 orders, we used to get 50 contacts. Today, it is less than 10 contacts. First and foremost is understanding that and eliminating that it is a pain for somebody to reach out to you. Once that problem is solved, the next leg is, and this depends on brand to brand, is the accessibility. How accessible you are as a brand. And here there are a lot of technology which helps us in integrated access. On one end, you have brands like Uber, who don't provide anything other than one channel as interface, which means they would want everybody to come through their platform, their app, and reach out, which essentially is almost like an instant messaging or an email channel. And on the other end, the brand, like the way the approach that we have taken, that we will be present everywhere the consumers are. So whether you want to reach out to us through Twitter or Facebook or WhatsApp or chat or call or email or any channel that you think, we will be there for you. And we don't want we don't want restrict customers to come only through one channel. In this approach, it becomes super critical to have an interface solution which is highly integrated with every channel. And it's not an easy problem. It's very easy to have one tool for social, one tool for inbound and outbound, one tool for chat. That is the other problem that I've solved, and now we have almost like a single interface for all of them together. It took a while. For the last 3-4 years, we've been on this single platform, which is about accessibility. Then after accessibility comes your ability to respond. How quickly can you respond? Here, the metrics and definition plays a big role. How do you provide for capacity? And how do you sort of do a trade-off between the speed of response and the complexity of problem that the customer is coming to you. So you would want to have low cost set of folks to address your low end problems. So it also helps you in sort of scaling up to the extent that you can answer a large percentage of customer contacts within 5 seconds or 10 seconds. Typically in this industry measured as 90% answer level in 10 seconds, 90% in 20 seconds. It is possible if you can really classify the contacts into very simple, then to a medium complexity, to a reasonably high complexity, and very highly complex. And you would want predominantly your agents to be handling very highly complex. Easy, simple, you will have different routes, low cost method to get the problem solved, so that you are able to give a really good quality of consumer experience. Then comes slightly lower in the funnel is your speed of resolution. And this is the integration the system has in terms of visibility into different functions. How clearly you know where the shipment is in the logistic network. If this shipment is traveling through Blue Dart, do you have deep enough visibility to where it is, and also visibility to when and how it is getting delivered, which hub it is currently stuck, it is stuck for what reason? If that is the reason, whom should I contact to get that problem solved? Say, for example, e-way bill is not issued yet. This is not a consumer need not know that if she has ordered a product which is worth more than 50,000, I need to generate e-way bill which is currently stuck. But the agent should have the information so that the agent can take the right action really quick. So providing the right visibility helps in solving the problem really fast. So visibility and also the empowerment at an agent level to take calls of whether it's about offering the certain approvals for refunding amount or giving some goodwill cash, all of so helps in sort of solving the problems a little quickly. Then this is measured through CSAT. What was the interaction experience, whether it is good, great, or a lot to be desired. Helps in sort of finding out whether it is a process level gap or a policy level gap, or sometimes even training and people level gap. Whether we have the right training that we have given to the set of folks to get the problem solved.
Yeah.
And the last part is insights, which is you as a function are sitting on the wealth of information, knowing about different kinds of problems that the consumers have, getting to hear how you add value to rest of the businesses, and go and sort of interact with every business unit and share them in a structured fashion. Various insights which helps teams in terms of building better products, more relevant products for consumers, people to change the processes and policies, which helps in terms of improving customer experience. So that's what and how I look at service. And in these areas, each one has a lot of technology play, whether in terms of elimination of contact, unified view it requires, unified view for different channels, you require different technology, resolution speed, which is integration with various other systems to get a better view of what is happening in outside the click control ecosystem, what is happening, how do you integrate with them, and try and move away from any non-value add step. There's a lot of changes that we have done. One of the pet projects that I took up very recently is around eliminating the need for QA itself. And see, it's a fairly established process that you will audit few calls and find out how you should do it real time. You can do it through voice analysis. If a customer's tone is changing during the call, or if it is above a certain level, it should instantly trigger. Somebody else should barge in at the call in that time, rather than somebody trying to do an audit on certain percentage call and then solving for it. So it's proactive, predictive, whichever way technology can help in sort of solving in exact that funnel view of customer experience, customer service is what we've been focusing on.
Well, I think this is really interesting. In fact, I was talking to one of my mentors, I would say, and there was a conversation around wherein he said that my policy is that if I've committed something, if you don't get it, you have it for free. I said, don't you think it's going to cost hell lot? And and that too with a rider that if it is not matching your quality expectations, then also it's going to be free. And I'm like, this is damn crazy. Why would you do that? It's too costly. He said that quality is not a cost, quality is profit, right? So, and quality kind of leads to great long-term revenue benefits, right? So when you talked about doing a real-time quality audit, it kind of, struck me there because it costs money, but what it does is that it eliminates the need of the customer coming to you with a bad experience, right? Escalating it. And that cost, if you look at it from a customer lifetime value itself, is very, very low, right? So certainly makes sense. Very few people, and I'm sure that because you have seen it all through, and that's why you took it as a pet project. And I'm sure that, the results would be really very, very powerful. So I think this is just amazing. I'm feeling like continuing, but I know that, I took only 45 minutes from you and we have already gone beyond time. So I would just like to, pause here and would like to thank you so very much for some great insights. I've heard you a number of times, but today what we spoke was largely on the real-time issues and problems, the way you have solved it and the way you look at top of the funnel and bottom of the funnel. And I'm sure that people would take away some great learnings from this coffee chat. I personally am very excited to see you in person and take some time out from your busy schedule and see, some of the practices that you followed, keeping customer at the center. This is really amazing, phenomenal. Thank you so very much, Dharma. Closing comments.
Thanks, Kapil. My pleasure. Happy to be here. Thanks for all the kind words and look forward to hosting you here in Mumbai.
Awesome. Thank you so much, audience.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.